Hey, happy Sunday. Welcome to another live stream here. Hope everybody's doing well. It is Sunday, the 30th of March, already the end of the first quarter of 2025. Hope everybody's doing well today. End of the weekend, March Madness, lots of stuff going on. Spring is in the air, definitely down here in, in Atlanta. We are deep in middle of pollen season. There's a light coating of yellow everywhere. So that's the pine pollen. And but all the other pollen's out there. So anybody with allergies is really getting hit right now. I really don't have year-round allergies, but this time of year, I do sniffle and cough and sneeze every once in a while. But a lot of people really, really suffer this time of year. But all the trees are blooming, the azaleas are coming out. So spring is definitely in the air here. And to kind of close out the first quarter of the year, I thought it'd be good to do a live stream and just talk a little bit about tracking your activities, tracking your exercise. There's lots of different ways to do that. Everything, from just pen and paper, a notepad to full. I guess now you can probably use AI to track your activities, but lots of different options. And why why you should maybe at least consider at a basic level, at least tracking basically what you're doing on a daily or weekly basis, especially if you are trying to build strength, build endurance, monitor your progress over time. Some sort of tracking makes it a lot easier to do that, to know, hey, where am I at now, and where was I 6 months ago or a month ago or last year at this time, and what have I done, how have I progressed, how has things gone for me over whatever period of time you want to be looking at. And so I think it's something to definitely consider, is tracking your exercise, tracking your activities. Like I said, everybody can do it a little differently, and there really is no right or wrong way to do it. But I think there are some things that you do want to, at a minimum, keep track of, however you do that. It could be as simple as just writing it down in a journal every day, keeping a spreadsheet on the computer, or going into some of these other tools that I'm gonna share with you here, what I've used a little bit over the years and what I'm currently doing to keep track of my activities. So let's talk a little bit about why we might want to, I guess, think about tracking our activities in some form or another. And I think the primary reason we want to do it is just for our own information. They say what knowledge is power, and the more information we have about what we're doing, what we've done, to a point, the better we are going to be able to make adjustments, or know, maybe, hey, what's the next step? I've been doing this for a certain amount of time. I've had certain results. Hey, is it time to mix things up? Maybe it's time to talk to a coach or a professional to kind of help me get over the hump and on to that next level. Or maybe you've been dealing with some injuries or things that have kind of set you back a little bit. I think tracking and knowing where you've been and kind of where you want to go is good motivation, just to help you keep moving forward. I know that's been helpful for me the last few years, as I've dealt with a few minor, nothing major, but a few kind of minor niggling injuries, because I've been tracking what I've been doing. I know where I was, how I got to that point, maybe where I got that injury, maybe give me some insight into was I doing something that might have promoted that injury or helped it come to life, right, by doing a certain thing. So I'm able to track that, and now as I'm going through kind of rehabbing and getting building myself up, hopefully stronger for the future. What are some of the things that I did that were helpful? What are some of the things that I did that maybe weren't helpful? And I want to make sure I don't do those again because I don't want to get injured again. That's one of the things that's really key, especially as we get older. I'd say once again, over 40. If you're over 40 and moving into that, second half of your life, you want to stay as active as possible. You want to, build endurance. You want to build strength. You want to maintain your mobility, your balance, all of that. But you want to do it in a way that reduces the chances of injury as much as possible. There's always going to be a chance of picking up a little injury here or there. But if we can train and work out and exercise in such a way that we're taking the concept of first, what, do no harm, right? Do not get injured. Do what you can to make sure that you are not increasing the chances dramatically that you're going to get injured, especially a major injury. And tracking your activities and what you've been doing is kind of a good way to stay on top of that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Anybody who's watching here live, if you do want to pop in, drop a comment in the chat, I'll be happy to, if you have a question or a comment or anything, feel free to enter it in the chat. And if you're watching this after the fact, please leave a comment down below. If there's anything maybe that you've been doing that's been helping you track, or maybe some information or questions that you may have, hopefully other commenters or I or even myself can get in there and maybe answer your question, give you some help and suggestions as to kind of help you in your journey, right? Your activity and exercise journey. Maybe some tips and suggestions that other people have found helpful, or maybe that I've found in my years of exercise that maybe I can share with you as well. So leave a comment down below if you have any questions or anything to add to the conversation. Always appreciated, and it always is useful to other people, even if they don't comment. Just reading the comment, watching the replay or watching the video and then reading the comments oftentimes is very, very helpful for people. So if you have anything to add to the discussion, please feel free to do that. So what have I done for tracking my activity over the years? And now it's been, I've been, I guess, physically active, exercising, doing something since pretty much 1980, 45 years. So I started back in high school, and back in the day there, it was pretty much it was all running, was cross country and track. And I was looking here before this started to see if I could find any of my old training logs. But for those of you that are, probably 50 or older, you might remember, especially if you were a runner back in the day, Runner's World magazine had a Runner's World training log, and it was a wire bound booklet, like an 8x5 booklet, with a calendar, and you could write down your workouts and what you had done. And so I used that for, gosh, ever since I started high school, so 1980 through probably when I was running seriously up through probably 87, 88. I used those Runner's World training logs pretty religiously. Tried to keep track of how many miles I did, how long it took me, notes about individual workouts, that type of thing. And then and as I got into my late 20s, early 30s, got busy with work, I was still exercising and doing running and cycling and that type of thing. And I tracked off and on, but I haven't been able to find any of those. They're packed in a box somewhere back in the unfinished part of the basement over there. Maybe if I can dig them up, I'll show them sometime. And I'll share them on one of the future live streams. But yeah, so I use those Runner's World training diaries to track all my running and everything. And then starting in probably 1997, 1998, when I started getting back into very, very consistent, kind of serious endurance training, which was primarily road cycling at that point. I was using an app at the time. What was it called? Bike Journal, I think it was the app. So I was using Bike Journal, and I was what was the tool? It wasn't Training. Maybe it was Training Peaks back when they were the original Training Peaks back in the day. I still have a Training Peaks account, but it's not. Doesn't go back beyond 2015. I know I was using something similar to that back like in 2000, 2001. I think it was called Bike Journal, I think is what it was. And I think it's still out there. But so I was tracking there. And then more recently, like the last 7-8 years, I've been tracking using Strava, which many of you may be aware of, especially if you're a runner or a road cyclist or trail runner or indoor rider, that type of thing. The app is called Strava. And let me go ahead and, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about here, it is a social. I mean, for lack of a better description, it's a social media app for exercise, for physical activity. Primarily, running and cycling seems to be the majority of the people that are using it. But I've been using it pretty consistently since, let's go sort. I've got 3,945 activities. The first activity that I logged in Strava was June 4th, 2017, a 5,000 meter row. I've been doing a lot of indoor rowing since 2010, but starting in 2017, I started to log pretty much all my activities in Strava. So 3,943 activities later, pretty much everything I've done is in Strava. But yeah, starting back in June of 2017. So it was a lot of rowing. And then if I scroll up a little bit, I'm getting rowing, starting to do some running, some walking, all tracking in there. And the nice thing is that you don't have to be a subscriber to Strava to get a lot of the functionality. I've been a subscriber off and on, maybe a total of 2 years over the last 4, just to kind of see what the advantages are. And there are some advantages to it, but other than that, I've maintained a free account. So with the free account, you have dashboard, you have your activity feed, which allows you to see the activities of either yourself or those that you are following. See my activities, following people you're following, or different clubs. If you notice here, this little club here says the Fitness Roadmap Club. Just a club I put together on Strava, free to join. We've got a few members, a few, myself, my wife, my brother, and a few others that have joined. So if you're using Strava and you want to join the Fitness Roadmap Club, be sure to join. There is the page, and like I said, you can join Strava for free, and you join, and you can keep your activities private or public. You have the choice of saying who sees your activities, if anybody, so you can keep your activities private or public, make them available to the world or to just people that you're following. Um, so my most and the nice thing about Strava is if you have a watch, it could be a Fitbit, it could be a Garmin, any activity tracker watch, most of the name brand, Apple Watch, Garmin, Suunto, Polar, all those can link directly to Strava, and then you can record the activity. And if you don't have a watch, like I use the Garmin. Was it 355? I think is the one I have. It's a couple years old, but good running watch, activity watch. But I have it. When I complete an activity, it uploads to the Garmin account and it goes straight to Strava, and then I pull everything from Strava. So I use Strava as the central point of all the activities, and then I'm able to analyze it in another app I'm going to show you here. But I use Strava as the primary, um, I guess, receptacle or bucket where all my activities go into. So most of the time, I'm using my watch to record a run or a walk. I'm using the Zwift trainer through the Zwift account when I'm doing a virtual ride. That goes directly into Strava. I use an app to track my strength training workouts, which I'll show you here in a little bit. That dumps into Strava, and then everything comes into Strava, and then you have a training calendar. So here we are, March. Give basic information, total time that's in there, but you can click on the calendar, and there's all the different activities in there. And then you can click on activity. So say there, this is the workout I did today. My legs are a little tired today. I did a VO2 max workout on the track, but pulls up basic information. My watch tracks GPS. Now, if you don't have a watch, something that's very very neat about Strava, you can load the Strava app on your phone. Works with iOS and Android, and it will track your activities using the phone's GPS. Which there we go. There is on the Strava app. There's my progress for the week. So very cool. But the neat thing about this, you may not have a watch, but if you want GPS tracking, you can start the activity on your phone, put the phone in your pocket, go for your walk or your run, and when you get done, stop it, and Strava will add it to your account. So pretty slick, all in all. And I use it kind of as that central repository, and then I follow friends and relatives on Strava. You can add in followers, and I can share your activities with your follow. Keep it completely private. Share it with your followers or people you follow, or share it to the world at large. So it's a pretty robust way of tracking your information. And then once you get it in there, if you want to get a little bit more detailed and a little bit more detailed analysis, a lot of other things will pull from Strava into their particular app, which you can then do some more detailed analysis, which I'll show you here in a second. It's kind of humid today. Well, yeah, I think all the pollen is definitely drying out my throat a little bit. But we're going to get some rain here later on today. I think spring storm. But so that is Strava. Let me go ahead and I'm going to log out and just show you. So that's the homepage for Strava. I'll put links to Strava, the Fitness Roadmap Club in Strava, in the description below as well. So if you want to check that out, you definitely can do that. But so that's Strava. And then what I do, if all you want to use is Strava, you'll be able to load your activities. You can go to the let me go ahead. I'll stop sharing. I'll reload in there. But you can load all your activities into Strava, and then do some basic analysis on your activities. So let me go ahead and get back there. Um, go back to the training calendar. I'll show you this and at least give you an idea what you've done for the for the week or for the day. Okay, there we are back in Strava. Let me go ahead and share that. There we go. Okay. So this is training calendar for March, and you've got all your workouts there. You've got total hours. You have total miles, personal records. If you have, they have segments. Also, if you don't run over the same route, there's lots of times what are called Strava segments, where maybe a section that somebody's tagged as a particular part of a route, and the fastest time you've done over that, I'll keep track of that for you. So kind of neat, kind of little motivators built in to Strava. But total number of activities. So you can do that, and then also there are. They have a global heat map. You can see where people are working. Here's my local area here in Atlanta area, my area of the world. But different people taking photos at different spots. So if you're traveling and you want to know where maybe people are running or riding or whatever, you can go onto the Strava heat map and see where people are logging activities. Which is kind of nice, but so it's a good central location to Hey, we're back. I got stuff going on. Maybe there's wind going on outside. Right? Maybe I think we blipped for a few minutes, but so yeah, Strava is a great way to load things in. And then if you want to get a little bit more detailed, what I use is an app, and it's free. Once again, you can subscribe and get an app. It's a web-based app. It's called Final Surge, and it can pull information from Strava or lots of other sources, and dump all that, dump it into Final Surge. There we go. Now we're back. Yeah, we're having some internet issues today. I apologize for this. So that's always the risk with the live stream, isn't it? But Final Surge pulls information into your own individual calendar. So here's my calendar, and it's separate. What's nice is you see all the activities. This is the recent, this week, the 24th through the 30th. And based off of the type of activity, it categorizes it, and then it totals everything up. So for the week, over here in the right corner rear, you see 43.14 and 6 hours, 51 minutes, and 27 seconds. That's how much time I've spent doing activities, right? Exercising, walking, riding, running, weightlifting, all that, but it breaks down by the type of activity. So it's kind of a nice way to get a um, switch it, to get a summary um, of the activities on a weekly basis. So um, that's kind of let's see if we can scroll over here and see. Yeah, there we go. Um, so, so that's really nice, and I use this to track because now when I go in there, I can click on a run and I can get some pretty detailed analysis that you can get from Strava, but a lot of this is not available unless you are a subscriber to Strava. And right now, Final Surge is free, so you can get some details. So here's my run from today, pulls up the basic. If I had planned a specific distance or time, you would see that there, but actually, the total event was 4.85 miles, 48:53, average pace of 10:04. But you see if I click on the zones and peak power, you can see the different power zones. Heart rate was a little wonky today because I didn't bring my chest strap. It was just the wrist-based uh, watch, which works okay on steady state, but most wrist-based heart rate are not real accurate when you're really working. So most of my intervals were actually heart rate wise was in the zone 4 here, probably 145, 157, but it didn't record a lot. But what's nice is you can analyze. So this workout was a VO2 max workout where I did a warm up and then I did 10 by 1/4 mile intervals. And you can go through and you can look, well, there's my pace per mile for the first interval. There's my rest interval, the next one. And then you've got heart rate. So you've got a lot of detail here, which is very nice. Cadence. And I pull that off of, I've got a foot pod that I wear on my shoe. It's a stride foot pod that I wear on my shoe that helps me determine pace. And I'm a nerd as far as technology stuff. I enjoy that stuff. So, but heart rate, you can track heart rate, power. That's what I use. It's basically a power meter for running, and I've had it for about 4 years. Really, really durable. I'll post a link in the description, but kind of a nice way to measure power, and I use that is a real good way to measure effort when I'm doing longer runs or interval type runs like a VO2 max workout. But yeah, you can get really into detail, look at the specific thing at the specific interval, time, very, 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 very detailed and and really nice. So so Final Surge, if you want to, you can once again you can load your information direct. It'll pull information from your watch and that type of thing. But I think that really from an ease of use overall, that using using Strava as kind of the receptacle to dump all your activities in, and then using other apps to do a little bit more deep dive analysis if you want to, makes a lot of sense. So Final Surge is a great tool to use if you want to track more specific details, especially heart rate and heart rate zones if you're doing zone 2 or VO2 max or all that, and it totals everything up on a weekly basis, so you can see how much time did I spend in zone 2 this week, how much time did I spend in VO2 max, how much time was I doing each activity. It's a real good way to consolidate that. And so that takes care of a lot of the aerobic activity. Strava, you can dump everything in there, and Final Surge will analyze pretty much any activity. But one thing I've started doing a couple years ago, well, 3 years ago at this point, when I started making a commitment to dedicated strength training, not just doing some stuff here and there like I did for the previous 30 years before that, but actual dedicated strength training with the idea of building strength and adding lean muscle mass over time. I started tracking my strength training workouts. So the exercises I was I doing bench press, overhead press, was I doing squats, was I doing curls, whatever it was, and then what sets was I doing, what weight was I doing in that particular workout, all of that. Um, I started tracking that, and I started off in uh, once again a free tool. I'll post a link. I'll post a link to it at the in the description down here, and definitely check it out if you want. It's called Strength Level, and I used it for a couple of years. I'll go and share the screen here, show you this, and it is once again, it's a free uh, strength training tracking app. There's an app on the phone that works pretty good. They're in the process of developing uh, an app, a little bit more robust app. They've been doing it's a free service. I think they work off of donations, maybe some subscriptions for some higher end stuff, but they have been working on developing a little bit more robust Android and iOS app. But I was using it just basically on the computer to track my um, workouts. And uh, I started I think in 2022, when I started getting, uh, I think the first workout I logged in here was 17th of March, 2022. So exercise, I did face pull and chin ups. Um, and then, you can pull up a calendar, see the workouts that you did. And I used this pretty much exclusively all the way through 24, I think. Yeah, I think I got all the way through uh, I think August of 2024, I think was the last time that I really used this. Yeah, September 2024. Then I switched to a different app called Heavy. I kind of bounce back and forth, but I'm always trying out new stuff, more maybe just for the channel, but also just for myself doing things. But the point is that I'm always tracking, so I can go back to Strength Level and see what I did earlier. But I switched to an app um, called Heavy, and I will show you that. It's similar type of strength training app, but what was nice about it is it has a little bit more robust phone app. So it's good on the computer. You can access it on the desktop or on the web, but it also has um, a web-based app with a little bit uh, way of tracking statistics and that type of thing that I found pretty useful. And so I've been using Heavy for basically the last 6 months or so, and really like it. But no matter what you use, I think once again tracking your activity and your exercise can be valuable. I know for me personally, over the years, when I was running and just using the Runner's World log all the way up until today, um, I'm able to go back and see where I was, what progress I've made, and I use that. It's a good motivator for me. If anything, just to show that I've been consistent and working and exercising on a regular basis, doing the activity on a daily basis. In most cases, some sort of activity, balancing strength and endurance, and walking and all that. But trying to do activity pretty much every day, and just being able to go back and see what I've done, see when I was running more competitively, go back and look at at the races I did or the workouts that I did that helped get me to that point. And now, as somebody who's training more for, being a robust or kick-ass 90-year-old, right? I want to be able to be active and mobile and strong and be independent into my final decade, whether that's my 80s or my 90s, maybe even hundreds, who knows? But that's my goal now. And by tracking what I'm doing on a week to week basis or month to month basis, I'm able to see that progress. And if I have a little bit of a setback, due to an injury or uh, life getting in the way and getting busy, I'm able to get back on track faster because I know where I was, right? I know where I was at that point where I had to take a break or cut back or that type of thing. So tracking exercise has been very important for me. And a lot of people that I've talked to, other other athletes or people that are into working out and exercising, no matter their age, uh, almost everybody says that tracking exercise is a benefit, is something that is a positive. It's not a negative. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to establish that habit of tracking and find a tool that works for you. There's lots of tools out there, but once you find that and you get in the habit of doing it, and it just reinforces, I think, your commitment to activity and exercise and staying strong and healthy throughout your life. So definitely something that I would highly recommend all of you to do at some level. It doesn't have to be web-based at all. It could be just writing stuff down in a notebook, and a lot of people do that. But um, if you like to use technology tools to dig a little deeper or to help you out with that, there's lots of great tools out there. And once again, I would recommend maybe using something like the free account at Strava to be the receptacle for the different activities, because most people now you've got a watch, maybe you've got an indoor bike that's connected to Zwift, maybe you've got a rowing machine. Like I've got the Concept 2 rowing machine that I've had for almost 15 years. Got it in December of 2010, and over the years, uh, I've used it quite a lot. Not as much now. I would consider myself a consistent user of the machine, but some people are putting on millions and millions and millions of meters. But for me, over the last 15 years, because I've been interspersing, uh, you know, uh, periods where I do a lot of indoor rowing with a lot of running or a lot of cycling. I've accumulated 8 million meters over the 15 years, 25 days and 3 hours, 475,000 calories, but 1,550 workouts. And this is the Concept 2. So when you have the machine, it automatically, you have it connected, it'll download the information from the computer on the machine to your Concept 2 account. So if I can take a look, the first season I did was 2010, 2011. And the first workout I did, I believe, was I think was the first one that I recorded was 12/11, 2010. I did 2,000 meters there. So that was my first workout on Concept 2, but it's got, they accumulate all the information I've dumped up, from 2010 through 2016. I just did everything pretty much in Concept 2, but since 2017, everything's gone into Strava as well. But yeah, so I've been tracking for years, and taken advantage of tools connected to the various equipment that I've used, and I found it helpful. So something to think about at least is tracking your workouts, and just find a method I would say find a method that works for you, that you're uh, happy with, that is easy for you to maintain. A lot of times, like I said, just keeping a notepad and writing something down in a journal format each day is more than enough for most people. It's enough for you. If you do it consistently, you'll have the information you need to track your exercise and your workouts and your activity and see where you've been and help you plan on where you would like to be, down the road, 6 months or a year or multiple years down the road from today. So that's about all I have today on tracking your exercise. I'll post links in the description for these various tools. I would say definitely if you're into using technology, consider doing the free account of Strava to pull all the information in, and then if you have other specific, a lot of people have Peloton. I'm assuming it has its own app and ecosystem, but you can dump all that into Strava. And then if you want to get a little bit more detailed, you can use a tool like Final Surge to pull that information together, get a little bit more detailed analysis, and kind of geek out on it if you want to. But you don't have to do that, but I would say at least get in the habit of tracking the basics of the activities that you're doing on a daily or weekly basis. It'll provide you with a source of inspiration, said, hey, look what I've done, and help you kind of keep going. And also can provide valuable information if you're trying to figure out, hey, why am I not making progress? Why am I stuck? What have I done that maybe is hindering my performance and my improvement? Or hey, what have I done that's kind of set me up to make that next leap and get stronger or healthier in the future? So definitely something to consider. I'll talk more about this in upcoming videos. I'm sure maybe I'll do a dedicated video on using Strava or some of the other tools. But let me know in the comments if there's any suggestions. Maybe some of you have found some tools that have worked for you. Leave them in the comments below. Help out others that may see this after the fact. And also, like I said, post links to the Strava group down there if you want to join. They're free to join, just a way to kind of pull together people that are watching the channel and maybe kind of get together. And you can when you join the group, you can create posts and do that type of thing. So kind of a neat way to do it. I'll post links to all that stuff down there. And that's all I got today. Thanks everybody for watching, either now or after the fact. Leave a comment if you have questions or something to share with everybody else. And until the next one, take care, be well, and enjoy the journey. All right, we'll see you.